All right, here is our last video for review. So politics and public policy making. So first off, the agenda setting that takes place within policy, the number one agenda setter is going to be the president. You'll have the media and other government entities play a large role, citizens, interest groups. But in the end, the president really helps establish the federal agenda for the legislative branch to address during their sessions. So basically, there's a formation, adoption, and implementation of policy. And it's important that you understand that formation is basically finding the ways to solve a problem's adoption, because once you've identified the problem, now you got to create the idea of how we're going to solve the problem, adopting a plan, and then actually carrying out that plan. So it's a simple process in theory, but obviously we've seen some plans go well and some plans go awry. So then you have policy evaluation, and that's where you begin to look and see it and analyze and determine whether or not you agree with the idea of the policy and if the policy is actually impacting having the effectiveness it needs to have. So domestic policy is going to be dealing with things such as crime prevention, education, energy. Let's see, Department of Education was created in 1979 because of the fact that it allowed the federal government to play a role as far as helping to fund through grants and vouchers to try and influence how states run their education. Other areas is healthcare, Medicare, and Medicaid. Make sure you understand that Medicare is an entitlement program. Medicaid is a means-based program. Social welfare programs also that you need to make sure you know are Social Security, housing programs through HUD, unemployment benefits, and things of that sort. Economic policy is where you're going to look at basically discretionary spending, which are you have to spend, or you spend this money on things that you see fit. So when the administration steps in, they can determine that they want to spend their money on defense, education, student loans. Remember that defense is the number one area of subject matter that receives the largest chunk of discretionary funds. But then you have your non-discretionary funds. And really, a lot of the reason why our budget is on a consistent deficit is because of the commitments that are made through the non-discretionary spending on programs such as social welfare programs, such as Social Security and Medicare. So the budgeting process, the budget fiscal year is supposed to go from October 1st through September 30th. There are 12 appropriation bills that go into the budgeting process. The way it works is the federal agencies that within the executive branch will make proposals on what they see is necessary for them to be able to run and do their job and run their department effectively. The president through the OMB will submit a proposal to Congress, and then the Congressional Budget Office will review and advise, and then eventually the Budget Committee will take over. And once the budget gets to Budget Committee, it'll then go through the same normal process of a bill. Okay, and that's going to be it as far as policy.